Friday, but I'm going to take advantage of the whiteboard while I'm here, because my whiteboard is coming on Monday on Amazon. So, today we are learning 9-4, solving quadratic equations using square roots. So take out a piece of notebook paper and take notes with me. I know it's probably tempting not to do that and to just watch the video and not take notes, but taking notes really helps you retain information. That's really the whole purpose of taking notes, so please take out a piece of paper and start writing this down. All right, example 1. I'm going to speed through this and just pause the video when you need to and rewatch. Okay. X squared equals 49. This honestly shouldn't be anything new. You really should be able to kind of figure out how to do this. The way we're going to solve this is we have x squared. We need to get x by itself. The opposite of squaring something is to take the square root, so we're going to square root both sides. X equals, remember, plus or minus 7. So that means I have two solutions here. You have positive 7 and negative 7. So that's your answer. Next part of example 1 is x squared equals negative 121. You do the same thing, square root both sides. X equals, okay, so for this, you might want to say it's 11. You might want to say it's negative 11. It's not. Remember we learned in class, you cannot take the square root of a negative number. If you take the square root of a negative number, it's going to be an imaginary number. So what you're going to write is you're going to write no real solutions. You're basically going to have imaginary solutions, which you don't learn about until Algebra 2. So for right now, all you need to know, no real solutions because you took the square root of a negative. All right, you're going to do 2 triads. Now when you do these triads, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to pause the video, and then I'll go over the triads on the board, but do them yourself first, pause the video and then play it and make sure you got the right answer. Okay, so try it. A is x squared equals 169, and B equals x squared equals negative 16. Okay, so I'd like you to do these 2 triads and pause the video, and I'm going to write the answers on the board. Just going to check and make sure my phone is still recording and everything looks okay. Nice. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so square root both sides. X equals plus or minus 13. Square root both sides. You should probably be able to even see before you square root that this is going to have no real solutions because we have a negative under the square root. So no real solutions. All right, moving on to example 2. X squared equals 112. So the first step for this is we need to get rid of the 7. So this says 7 times x squared, so we're going to divide by 7 on both sides. Divide by 7, divide by 7. That gets us x squared equals 16. Sorry about that. I don't have a calculator on me. All right. Next step, we're going to square root both sides. X equals plus or minus 4. Remember the plus or minus, that's really important. There's 2 solutions for this. Okay, next problem. Negative 3x squared equals negative 24. Okay? All right, so first step is we're going to divide by negative 3 on both sides. we're going to get x squared equals positive 8. Then we're going to take the square root, x equals plus or minus radical 8. However, we learned how to simplify this in our last lesson. So x equals plus or minus, this becomes radical 4 times 2. That comes out, x equals plus or minus 2 radical 2. Okay, now you're going to do 2 triads. The first triad is 5x squared equals 125. And the next triad is negative 1/2 x squared equals negative 36. Okay, pause the video, do them on your own, come back. All right, divide by 5, divide by 5. X squared equals 25. Square root both sides. X equals plus or minus 5. For this one, I'm going to erase this b so I have some room. When you have a fraction next to a variable, you always multiply by the reciprocal. So you want to multiply by negative 2 over 1 on both sides. That goes away. This becomes positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. 72 equals x squared. We're going to take the square root of both sides. X equals plus or minus. You might think 8 times 9, you might start thinking of all different numbers. The best ones to choose are 36 times 2. And then x equals plus or minus, square root of 36 is 6, so that comes out 6 radical 2. Okay, next is example 3. X squared minus 5 equals 22. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we are going to add 5 to both sides. That gives us 3x squared equals 27. Next thing we're going to do is divide by 3. X squared equals 9. And the last step is to take the square root of both sides. X equals plus or minus 3. Okay, you're going to do 2 triads now. So once again, pause the video, do the triads, and then check to see if your answer is correct. Okay, triad A is negative 5x squared minus 19 equals 144. We are going to add 19 to both sides. Negative 5x squared equals 163. Divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. X squared equals, something might jump out at you already that you're going to get a negative number over here, which is a problem. If you did it in the calculator, you're going to get negative 36.6. And then when you try to square root both sides, you can't, because you can't take the square root over negative. So there are no real solutions. Make sure you write no real solutions and not just no solution, because there technically is solutions, but they're imaginary, which you don't learn until algebra 2. Okay. Next, try it. (3x squared plus 17 equals 209. Subtract 17 on both sides. 3x squared equals 144. 192. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. X squared equals 64. Square root, x equals plus or minus 8. Last example is example 4. Let's see how I'm doing timing-wise on this video. Let's see, 10 minutes. Okay, it's not bad. All right, example 4. This is a word problem. I'm just going to redo the word problem. You don't have to write down all the words, just listen. Okay, so a cell phone tower has a guy wire for support as shown. The height of the tower and the distance from the tower to where the guy wire is secured on the ground are the same distance. What is the height of the tower? By the way, you can always just open your book. We're on page 378 right now if you want to actually see what the problem looks like. So basically what it's saying is that there is a cell phone tower. So this is going to be my cell phone tower, okay? And then there's a guy wire. So the wire that's kind of holding this thing up is called the guy wire. So it's making a right triangle right now. And it says that the guy wire is 200 feet. And it says that these are the same distance. This is the same as this, so we're going to call this x, and we're going to call this x, since they're the same length. Now if we need to solve this, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so x squared plus x squared equals 200 squared. X squared plus x squared is 2x squared equals 40,000. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X squared equals 20,000. Take the square root of both sides. X equals plus or minus radical 20,000. We're not going to leave it like that. We're going to simplify our radical like we've learned that we can do. So I'm actually going to break this down. There's a lot of different ways you could simplify this. This is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to break this down as, let's do 100 times 100 times 2. So we're going to do 100 times 100 times 2. So 100 times 100 is 10,000, times 2 is 20,000. I'm going to slide over here. 100 times 100 is 100 squared. The square root of 100 squared is just 100, because what happens is the squared and square root cancel out, so the 100 is coming out now. And we have radical 2 left underneath. So that is our final answer. We're not going to do the try it for this, so the lesson is done. Not too bad of a lesson. Okay, for homework tonight, I'm also going to post this in Google Classroom, what the homework is, but I'm also going to write it up here on the board. I'm calling it homework like it's homework. Like, it's not really homework, it's really classwork. So weird to get used to. All right. Page 380, I would like you to do numbers 21, 23 to 39, odd, and 43. Okay? Those are the problems that you're going to work on. You're going to do your workout, you're going to take a picture of your work, you're going to submit it in Google Classroom, or you can email it to me, whatever is simpler for you. And that's it. Day 1 done.